Hey, hi all.
Hi.
This is hi. Those people will show the code.
Yeah, if I run for the first time, I got it. Then I try to change the list values. Then I'm just getting the error. I'm getting the output, but which is not correct. The number is changing. Employee name is not changing. Should I share my screen or?
Let me just copy this
Okay.
code.
When I ran, it is working. I'm getting Tom, employee of the month is Tom, comma, his working hours 450. If I change, but I'm not getting the employee, I'm getting the same employee name. If I change the numbers, I'm getting the working hours as correct, but I think I'm missing something here.
You are not assigned the employee in this, no? So that is where the problem is happening. You have
Sorry,
not
I'm
assigned.
not getting.
You are not assigned the employee. So the employee also has to be assigned over here,
Okay.
right? So if you are changing that up, so when you are changing that, so you are changing the hours in this, right? Like so that
Yeah.
after 4 hours. The
Yes.
same thing, you also have to take the employee also with it. Basically, like if the so you assign one employee also over here, that employee equals to, you leave it as missing, right? So then what you do is, if hours is this, then employee hours also has to become this EMP in this over here. That is something you have to take that up. And the EMP becomes this.
Okay. Because yesterday we were showing, right, it will pay, if we give two temp variables for each iteration, string will be in one variable. However, so I thought in that manner, it will take the employee automatically. Okay, I missed this actually. Okay.
So this is something that will come up.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you are saying r is equal to, why have you done this over here?
No,
R
I
is
was
equal
just trying. Even I commented this incrementation. Even then, it is working. I miss it to delete this line.
so
Here, while printing st of emp or in the print statement, emp should be one or caps emp.
EMP not form. Okay, this is
Okay. Okay.
right.
Can
Correct.
you please change Harry's to 700 or something? Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Amit, do you have any other coding method for this particular scenario?
No, it will go like this only. We will have to initialize the values first, that we assign that, okay, this is 0 and this is, we don't know. And then we run the loop over here to compare it one by one, and then take the highest value over here. So that is the way we'll have to achieve it.
Okay. And you was explaining the enumerate function, right? For each iteration, it will hold that particular iteration count and its value. Can we achieve that?
Index number.
Okay, for this particular employee, can we, because I don't have any idea of enumerate, can we use this enumerate here or it won't work?
No, that we just use to pick the index number. So you don't have to pick, if you want to pick the index
Okay,
number of a
okay.
value, so then we use that.
Okay, okay.
Amit, I posted one code and one question in the chat. So here I am getting the output as Monday, Sunday, and Saturday. And if I need it in a single list, then what I have to do? I tried so many ways, but I'm not getting it. I need
Right.
that in a single list.
Once again. No, so you have this, right? Days is given to you.
This is one of the assignment questions. So,
Write a program to extract the words from the. Oh, so you actually have not compared the value basically over here. So if you will check this out, right? So what is happening is in this code that you have written, right? So we are saying if item dot is
first character.
First vector for that for items in this. This. So then what you do over here is so you create a list. You just make a empty list over here, right? Then what you do over here is do not print it. Lst dot print this item. Okay, so what you do is you in the empty list you keep start appending those items inside it.
Append.
Append spelling.
And spelling. Items. Yeah.
Now you can.
Saturday.
Actually, we have defined that inside the group over there, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now I got it.
So now, like we have seen how we make the functions. So probably let's just do one or two more questions for the purpose of practice over here. So just some simple function, right? I think you will be able to do them quickly. Like for example, create a function that prints the lesser of two numbers. Maybe I will say greater one reference lesser of two even numbers. The function of bigger numbers. Should I just change the question a little bit? The question is create a function that prints the lesser of the two numbers if both are even and max if both are odd. So right, Lakshmi, this is what we will do. So if I now use this lesser of function, so if I give 3 comma 5, so should return 5, right? If we try 6 comma 4, should return 4, right? And if one is odd and one is even, so okay. So now what we will do over here is we'll explore something more, and that is something that is called as lambda functions, right? So we will talk about lambda functions. We will talk about the map and we will talk about filter. Two things we will talk together. So I will start off with first thing, map. This is a function that you have, right? Map is a function. So map function allows us to, I will say I to map is a function that allows you to map any function on to a iterable object. Okay. So like for example, if you have to understand it, suppose I say, we have something like this. I have a function over here with me. Let's create that function. I have a function of square. It can be anything, right? We have a function like square, and in which what we do is we take the input from the user, and what we do is we return num raised to the power 2. So we return a square of that. Okay, so I have a function with now suppose I have a list that is given to me. There is a list that is given to me in which I have the numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now what I would like to do is I would like to square all these numbers. I want to find a square of all these numbers. So one way will be I will write a loop, right? I will apply a loop and I will square the numbers. Otherwise, what I can do over here is I can simply use a function map. Okay. And in the map, what I do is I pass my function, which function I want to apply, that is square. Then I pass my input, that is list. Okay. Now this is what we will be actually doing. So now map is again a generator function. Basically, it will be able to find the square and apply the function, but it will not give the result, right? It will not give the result. So what it does is, like, if you write simply map like this, it will just give you the memory location that this output has been generated at the storage location on your system. But if you want to see the output, you actually have to wrap it inside the list. Right? So you have to wrap it inside the list. So map, you want to map square function on the list that you have created, and there you see it. So like, let's try one more question over here, right? Just to understand this map. Suppose, I have, suppose I have one function, right? So let's call it as slicer. I have a function called slicer in which we give some input as a my string. We give some input in this, and now what we do is I'm checking that if the length of my str, right, divide by 2 is equals to 0. If the length is even, right? I'm saying if the length is even, then I would like to say return even. Okay. Else, we are saying then I would like to return, suppose my str first value. Because if I create the function, I have a list with me in which I have some names given to me, suppose Tom, Eric, Harry, Sam. Now what I do is I can simply use map function. So to apply this function on all the strings. So I will say list map of my function is slicer, and I have to apply it on list 2. So we get that. The next, the function that we have is the filter function. Okay. So what this filter function does is the filter function the filter function, what it does is it returns and I will say basically iterator yielding those, if I just try to tell, the filter function returns an iterator yielding those items for which the function is true. This is what we do in this. Like for example, if I have a function with me, suppose I want to check whether the number is even, and I take some input inside this, right? Now I'm saying return num divided by 2 equals to 0. Okay. Now if I have some number, right? So basically what it is checking whether the number is 0 or not. So I want to return the numbers which are, I want to filter out those numbers which are even. So suppose I have some numbers which are given to me as an input. So I can use filter in that case. Filter now I'm giving in the filter, what I'm doing over here right now is we are saying that filter uh, over here check even, okay, and on the range that is number, same way, right, like we have used map, just that again this also will come in the list only because it is an generator function, so it will not be able to print the values. See, now it just gives the values that are true, now the values that are even.
What is the difference between
Yeah, I was
map
about to
and
ask that. Yeah,
function?
like map also we are giving the function number and we are passing the input, right? So I couldn't find the difference here between map and filter.
See, map is basically, so if you just see this output over here is, and now what you do is just paste the same thing just to first understand the difference. If you see the map now, right? So what it is doing, it is giving the output in the form of false, true, false. Because if you see the function right now, this function is something which is giving the output in the form of true and false,
Yeah,
right?
Boolean.
If you see, we are not returning any value. So this function is saying return number divided by 2 equal to 0 now, right? So what is happening in that case is when we are saying return number divided by 2 equal to 0, it will give you only true and false, right?
Yeah.
This is what is going to happen. But
Yes.
what this filter is doing, so it is giving me in fact those values wherever that condition is true, right? So if you see now, if I say this check event, now if I will check for the number 7, so it gives me false if it is even, and if it is even, it will give me true, right? This is what it's doing because we are not returning that value.
Yeah,
We
we
are
are
not
not returning, we are just checking the condition.
correct. So this filter is doing, so for whatever iterations the condition is getting true, we are giving that in the output over here. That is what we are doing. So that is why, so this is how it is different from that map. So mapping was applying the same function on the list. It is giving the output in the context of wherever the output is coming as true. So your output should be in the form of true and false if you have to use filter.
Okay, even though we are just checking the condition, if it satisfies, it will return the value in case of filter.
Correct.
But in the above slicer function, it's written in the th even and that values, right? Above function, that
Map.
slicer function.
Sorry.
Yeah, here it returns the value ths.
So this is basically, you see, it is not giving the output of true and false. Over here, we are applying, we had a proper function that was being applied on all the values. You're referring to this only, like if we have this. So over here in the C, in the mapping, what we are doing is, mapping is simple. So basically you want to apply a function which does some functionalities. You want to apply that function into multiple items together. So without writing a loop, you apply it. And filter, what it is doing is, filter is something, like filter means to see the values based on our condition now. So what this is same thing this filter is doing. So if you apply any function where the output is in the form of a true and false, and you only want to see true values in the output, so you can use filter in that case. Okay.
Yeah.
So whatever may be the logic, right? It will just check the condition in map and return the Boolean value. In filters, if condition satisfies, accordingly it will return the values as such.
Yes. So map will just simply apply the function on the complete thing, and filter is going to check true and false only, and whatever is true that will come in the output.
Okay. But map will return the Boolean values, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Now the next thing that we have over here is there is something we call it as lambda functions now. So we have lambda functions. Now lambda functions are simple stuff, right? This is basically functions only, right? So this is also one of the very useful tools that we have, the useful functionalities that we have, right? So what happens is lambda allows us to create anonymous function. Okay, this allows us to create anonymous functions now. So basically, what happens over here is you don't have to create a complete kind of a write a complete function body and all. You can create your function with one liner also with the help of the the lambda functions over here. So I'll tell you what do I mean by this. Like you saw in that above, we made a square function that we wanted to find a square of the number. So I made this function at the top, right? If I want, I can write this function in one line also. That is not a problem, right? Like for example, if I come over here and this, if I come over here and something like this, in this now in this one line, so this will also work. And if I say I want to find the square of 5, I'll get the 25, right? Now the same function, I can write in with the help of a lambda. So lambda is, it starts like this. You say lambda, okay. Then you define that you have a number and you want to find a square of that. As simple as that, right? Now I don't need to define like this, like define the function name, nothing. So this I have written lambda num raised to the power 2. Right now this creates a function for you. Now this is basically, this is how we can easily use our functions and create our functions if required anywhere, right? So by starting with lambda and you create it. So you don't need to create the function every time. Like if you want to assign it, you can assign that as well. If you say square equal to this, right? And now if you say square of 2, this will work, but generally we never do this thing, right? We never generally follow this pattern. Wherever this lambda will be used, it will be mostly anonymous, where what we will be doing is like you will be simply writing this function instead of creating the function once. Like for example, the question that we had, right? We had a list, lst equal to we have the number 1 2 3 4 5 6. I wanted to find the square of the numbers. So first of all, I would have, in a general technique, the learning that we had up till now, I would have first created my square function and then applied a map on that. But now what I can do is I can simply say list, suppose list map. Now, first we have to define the function. So I really don't need to create the function now. I can write my calculate my functional function thing over here only, that lambda n maybe lambda num raised to the power 2 num raised to the power 2. Okay, and then what we do over here is, suppose this was the list that we had, lst, and that's it. See, so I didn't have to create the function first and then assign that function over here. Function is created right over here, assigned over here. That is where lambda function comes into utilization. So lambda will help you to create the function in that one single line itself. Getting it?
Yeah, but since it is only square, I'm just thinking in real time we use this normally, because if the functionality includes more, what is the use of lambda?
No, so I'll be showing you. I'll give you.
Okay.
First we understand the syntax over here,
Mm-hmm.
like how we're using it. So we are not, there is no need of first creating the function then using it. So
Yeah.
correctly, so this is basically used for simple function only. We don't use it for some complex
Complex code.
functions.
Okay.
So can you try this lambda function now to, from a list? Suppose I have a list over here, right? So we have to extract the first character of every word over here. So can you do it? Try to do it using the lambda function. All right. So
You change LST to, yeah.
Okay. So we get this TEHS. Right, so you can use this with the filter also, right? If suppose if I say using the lambda function, you have to print only the even numbers, so you can use it over there as well. You can try writing to that. Right now, if you write this square, when you use this lambda functions, you can use if conditions also in them, right? If you want, suppose you are saying lambda. Okay. Now you are saying you have a number and you want to find the square of that, right? You want to find a square of that into the same number if the x is greater than 0. Suppose you want to give these conditions. So these things can also be done. So you can apply a normal if condition. So you can't give else, you can only give if condition. Right?
Yeah, how can we call this if we write like this? Like if how can we call to the number? So we have to assign this to the.
Sorry?
How can we call this line of the code? Like
This that we have written.
yeah.
So basically what we do is we generally use this function with some pre-existing code, right? Like for example, you will be using map function for this. So we have just created a function right now. So
Okay.
suppose I had a list with me. So what I will do is I'm saying suppose I have list 3 with me, and in this suppose I'm saying I have numbers like -1, -2, -5, right, and 1, 2, 3. So these are the numbers. So now I will say map this function on LST3. So we do it and we say filter on this.
We need to put list in front.
Oh, that is also one, but otherwise also should have given me this.
Can we use both filter and map together?
Just have to use map. I wrote list. So this is where we are. 1, 2.
Yeah, even I am getting the syntax error near if.
Okay.
On parentheses.
Wow.
One parenthesis is more, right? After a list.
Yeah, next to list there is two
Yeah,
parentheses.
next to list.
Sorry.
Next to list, one parenthesis is more, right? Do we need two?
This is for lambda and this is for this. So now the door here is, so this is what we done. So I'm saying lambda this, I want a square of this if the number is greater than 0, otherwise we are doing a negative of it, right? So wherever the numbers were minus, they have turned into positive, and wherever the numbers are more than 0, the square of those numbers is given. Right?
Yeah, I think basically lambdas are like basically on the go functions.
On the go functions. That is why we call them anonymous. Basically, you don't need to define a name. You simply pass the function and you start using it.
Okay, don't need of those keywords, so def, return something, all those
Right.
stuff.
But for me, if I run this right, converting list of map for other two things also, I'm getting an error like list object is not callable. I don't think.
For other two objects as in?
No, for the previous two examples also, if I try to run right, I'm just getting the same error. List object is not callable.
You're talking about this function?
Yeah.
Or
No, for all the three, if I try to run, previously I'm getting, now I'm getting the error like list object is not callable.
Can you share the code over the chat once?
Yeah.
No, it's working. I mean, I'm pleased that you are not getting any stars, something like that. So it is in the execution mode. Just give me a second. Who's the one? Go to go. Yes. So Deepa is working. If you can check this one.
Yeah, I have pasted that error as well. I don't know why I'm getting that error.
I think previously you have in that your the error where you have the error that you're getting, that the list is different, and what you have shared as a code in that the list is different. I think list map lambda num L1. So that
Yeah, I'm getting the same error for all the lists. So I just copied only once the error message in order to show you.
I mean you can share the other codes as well because I just executed them. So working fine.
Amit, do you need to use always map with Lambda function?
You can use map or filter, and it's not mandatory. You can we can write some more. When we write some codes, when we work with data frames and all. So over there, without that also you can write the maps generally, but they will come with the loops. Looping, wherever the loop is there, that is where we will be using